This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? Welcome in again to the show. This is the War Room with PMAC. That guy over there is PMAC, and I am your co-host, you, and that's the letter, not the word. What up, P?
What's up, my brother? Man, it almost been a month.
Very much so. It has. It's been a long month, but it's almost been a month for sure.
Absolutely. So I'm glad everybody has joined us on this special edition of the War Room with PMAC. This is episode 24. The AFC title game edition of the War
Again.
Again, this is actually the second time we've done an episode where this is the AFC title game edition. So
yes.
So we can say we are in season 2 of the War Room with PMAC, which I'm very happy to usher in with 2025. And just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, man. And this is brought to you by Chiefs Focus. And it's great to have you with us, especially Thiz, man. It's great to have you always, man, especially as the producer and also my co-host, man. So how you been throughout this whole entire month?
Man, it's been a minute since we met, but it's been a busy month for me, but I'm glad we finally get to do the show again.
Absolutely, man. I've been going through a lot, especially taking care of a lot of personal business, especially with family over the holiday and getting into new ventures and stuff like that. We've talked about it off the phone and everything, but I feel like it's something that could be beneficial for other people because I'm starting to get better at it recently, especially last night. I've been doing a lot of FanDuel stuff though, guys, because I feel like it shows out a lot of things of who is legit and who's not. And of course, we know gambling is gambling. But here's the thing, though. It gives you an idea, understanding who's real and who's not. And this is what has been fun for me. And I've been winning some money and everything else like that. It's been fun, doing the little props and stuff like that. And maybe at the end of the show, I'll throw a couple out there. But other than that, that's not really important. But other than that, I just want to say that we're just one game away from the Super Bowl, everybody. This season has been a roller coaster ride for the Chiefs, but the main takeaway is that we always find a way to secure a victory. One final challenge stands between us and the three-peat. Josh Allen, who might be the league MVP, and the Buffalo Bills are coming to town. We'll prepare you guys for Sunday's game through these 3 segments. That's news to me. My 3 standouts from the game against the Texans last weekend, and the keys for the Chiefs to defeat the Bills and to move on to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans and to become the first team to ever three-peat in NFL history. So let's get it started, Thiz.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
All right, man. So that's my favorite segment. That's news to me with the first part of the news. The Kansas City Chiefs returned to the AFC Championship game for the 7th consecutive season after defeating the Houston Texans 23-14 in the divisional round. Everybody saw Kelsey have 7 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown, while the defense recorded 8 sacks on C.J. Stroud, ensuring the Chiefs' 8th straight playoff win since 2022. The turning point came early in the fourth quarter with the Chiefs leading by 1 and facing third down in the red zone. And we all saw Mahomes under pressure. He threw an 11-yard touchdown pass to Kelsey while being tackled to the ground, extending the lead to 8 points. If you saw that play, it resembled a play in Super Bowl 55 against the Buccaneers where Mahomes was falling to the ground. And one of those could have connected on the touchdown. And I was like, oh, my gosh. If he had connected on the touchdown, it could have really been a spark that could have put us back into that game. And everybody would have been like, uh-oh, that's the Chiefs that we know. So when Mahomes did the same thing on Saturday, it connected with Kelsey, the right person. So it was great to see that. And then the Chiefs extended its streak of consecutive conference title appearances to 7, the second longest streak in league history. Only the Patriots, who have made 8 straight from 2011 to 2018 with only 5 at home. Conservatively, the Chiefs will have played 6 of 7 title games at home. I was part of 5 when I worked with the Chiefs before. And also Andy Reid got his 300th win on Saturday, ranking 4th all time. Only Don Shula, Bill Belichick, and George Halas have more. Andy Reid's 27 wins are second only to Belichick's 31.
Yeah, man. Let's touch on the Patrick Mahomes thing first. Him throwing that pass, crazy. The amount of zip he had on that pass. Do you know? I mean, I thought looking at that throw he made in the Super Bowl 54 against the Bucks, him falling sideways, that was difficult. But he could sidearm, and we know he could sidearm. But being able to fall face forward, still connect, still be watching Travis Kelce because he wasn't open at the time he threw the ball. He wasn't open, but he drifted backwards, and Pat saw him as he was getting tackled, and the fact that he was able to have the arm strength to without stepping into anything, stepping in, out, away from, because they had him by the legs. Yep. Man, I was like, man, this dude's ridiculous. He's amazing. So that was great to see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And since his arrival, Mahomes has been incredibly significant for us, man. He's a fierce competitor, our leader. We all respect and follow his direction, and there's no quarterback I prefer over Patrick Mahomes. It is uncommon to demonstrate such excellence in any field, including football, consistently. That, this team prioritizes teamwork and hard work above anything else. Excuse me, y'all. We have established a standard of excellence that the league might not witness ever again for quite some time. People say that about the Patriots, but now with Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're going to say that again about us.
I was about to say, they're going to say it about us, but somebody's going to break that record. Now, let's be honest.
Of course.
We don't know when it'll be, but it'll happen. I mean, I mean, kids are getting faster, stronger, quicker because the science is on their side. So it's coming. I don't know if we'll ever see it in our lifetime, and I don't even know if the NFL will be as popular when it does happen, but it'll happen again. I'm not naive enough to think that it won't.
Absolutely. And that's the thing about it, man. So, like we saw, he completed only 16 to 25 passes for 177 yards and a touchdown. This led to his 16th career postseason victory as the starting quarterback for the Chiefs. Those 16 ties with Joe Montana and trail only Tom Brady, who has 35.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man. And we also got to give credit to Kelsey, and I'll mention him later on within the show and what he did because he's chasing Jerry Rice, and we'll get into that later. But then, go ahead.
One thing I will say, like, we look at Pat and see everything that he is and what he is, and just knowing that is kind of crazy. But having that kind of power, having that kind of player in the hands of a guy like who is completely incapable of developing that would have been bad. Okay, we got to make that clear. Had he gotten to the hands of, let's say, I'm trying to think of a bad head coach, John Gruden.
No, Dan Campbell.
I actually don't know. I actually think Dan Campbell might let him do what he wants to do. Like when I tell you, Pat, when he wants to go long for it, he gonna go long for it. Like he's not gonna force him to not show restraint. He's not gonna force him to show restraint. I think if the long ball, I think they will give him the weapons to just like we call him Ferrari Pat. We have.
Right.
And instead of going the speed limit, you're always going to hit 90. We're always, when we're on the highway, we're always going to hit 90. And Pat's like that sometimes. But sometimes you go through a school zone. Ferraris need to slow down too. Ferraris got to slow down too. You can't always hit 7,000, 8,000 RPMs. You got to bring it down a little bit. And that's what, by side note, that's what cost the Lions the game this year. They're always running high.
I think I told you that the Commanders was going to upset them.
You did. But I said I agree because at some point, you're just going to – you're running so high on this high-octane fuel and you're running so high all the dang time, at some point, the throttle's going to get tired. Your body's going to get tired. Like, it's going to happen. Yeah. And so seeing a guy like Andy Reid go through coordinator after coordinator, show Pat good footwork, allowing him to be able to throw the long ball, but then reeling back on it 2 years ago, and showing the making the adjustment, that has helped Pat so much. And so Andy Reid has to get his flowers for that.
Absolutely, bro.
And I think you mentioned he has a 300th win, so that's also amazing. So that's shout out to Andy Reid.
Big Red, yes, sir. And then lastly, a part of this segment is talk about the defense, bro. On Saturday, the Chiefs recorded 8 sacks, the second highest total in franchise postseason history. Just shy of the record of 9 against the Houston Oilers during the 1993-1994 season. That's when we had Joe Montana, Marcus Allen, and Derek Thomas. The Chiefs now join only 11 teams in NFL history to record at least 8 sacks in a playoff game. This impressive total was the result of a collective effort with 6 players contributing to this. Defensive end, George Karlaftis, 3. Safety, Shamari Connor, 1. Defensive end, Charles Omenihu, 1. The CEO of Sack Nation, Chris Jones, with 1. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, and he is really becoming a name that you're going to have to watch even going into 2025, bro. And last but not least, defensive tackle Turk Wharton, Tashawn Wharton, man, he has been on fire, bro. I think he has the second most sacks behind Karlaftis on the team. So, man, notably 4 of the 8 sacks occurred on 3rd or 4th downs. Overall, the Chiefs pressured C.J. Stroud on 54% of his dropbacks during the game.
First of all, shout out to defensive line, and they saw a weakness and they exposed the crap out of it. Okay. Spags saw it and he went for it almost every time. Like, he saw cracks in the armor and he just jabbed at it and just kept going. It was they was coming from here, they was coming from there, they was everywhere. And Karlaftis, man, the motor is there. The motor is absolutely there. And shout out to Omenihu, who actually did not get to play in this upcoming game last year because of the injury. He didn't get to play in the championship game. So, side note, I expect a bunch from him because he gets to actually be a part of that this year.
Right.
So I expect him to step up majorly. But of course, you can't say enough about the CEO of Sack Nation, Chris Jones. And he's where this all starts, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
So shout out to that whole defense and Shamari Connor being able to get his off. So I was thoroughly impressed.
Absolutely, man. And like we said before, defense wins championships. This group is hungry and focused on returning to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs' defense's success stems from talent, intelligence, hard work, preparation under Steve Spagnuolo's guidance. This preparation demands consistency, diligence from all positions, showcasing the hard work and preparation each week, man. They play their style of football, never ceasing the grind. Beyond all-pro players like McDuffie or Jones or even Nick Bolton, who I've said before should be an all-pro, we have all-pro minds on this team. And
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt. And, I mean, the experience 100% helps. You see the difference in preparation and being able to conserve energy for the long haul. You're not putting everything out on the field in those first 3 quarters. It's a 4-quarter game. Don't forget, if you got to go that extra mile and go to overtime, and the Bills know that. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. And like that, we're going to our next segment, and it's one of my other favorite segments. One of my 3 standouts from last Saturday. Chiefs have now secured the 8th consecutive playoff victory, joining an elite group that includes the Patriots, who had 10 straight, the 61 through 67 Packers, 9 straight. These teams are the only ones in league history to achieve at least 8 postseason wins in a row. 3 players in particular delivered standout performances that really significantly contributed to that, especially over the Texans. While team success relies on collective effort rather than individual accolades, these players and their key contributions were vital to the team's impressive performance last Saturday. And I'm going to start with Big Yeti, 87, Travis Kelce, or as the Swifties would say, Taylor Swift's man. On Saturday, Travis Kelce recorded 7 catches for $117 and a touchdown, marking his 9th playoff game with over 100 yards receiving. This sets a new record, surpassing Jerry Rice for such most games in postseason history. Out of Kelce's 7 receptions, 5 were gained at 10 yards. Even with that 49-yard catch and run in the second quarter that led to that 1-yard run by Kareem Hunt. Kelce holds the record for the most career receptions in NFL playoff history with 172. He is now only 226 receiving yards and 3 touchdown catches away from breaking Jerry Rice's records in these categories for the NFL postseason. He's 35.
Look, man, this is why a month off needed to happen. He is specifically why a month off needed to happen. I was worried. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a such thing as rust. It happens. But when you got guys like this who've been through this more than once, more than twice, not in the words of LeBron James, not once, not 1, not 2, not 3. You know, they've been through this. So they're not new to this. They're true to this. Experience, there is no substitution for experience in the game. And that's what you see with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Like, that's literally what you see. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought DeAndre Hopkins was going to be more of a factor.
I thought so too.
But let's be real. He's never made this far in the playoffs. Well, exactly. He has, but he was there, if I'm not mistaken, when they got blown out by the Chiefs.
I remember. Here's the thing, though. I think that D-Hop, they had a game plan for him because they saw what he did to them last time around. And they game plan for that. But they still didn't have a game plan for Worthy and no game plan for Kelce. Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. When you got plans, they obviously was game planning for somebody besides Travis Kelce, because I don't remember the last time Kelce had over 100 yards. He had one
early, like in between week 1 through 8.
Through 5, I want to say. Yeah, it was one of them games, and he was basically essentially conserving energy. But, bruh, 117 yards. I knew he would go off, but I didn't think it was going to be like that.
Yeah. And I'm going to just say this. I think Kelsey, like if you look at the old Eagles system, you remember Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz when he started to come on, right? I'm starting to think Kelsey's definitely in that phase where he's in the Brent Selleck role and he's allowing Noah Gray to become his inner Zach Ertz. And that's just what's happening. Of course. And you're going to see that this Sunday.
It's a torch passing situation.
Absolutely.
Like it's definitely a torch passing. Like I don't now don't take that as me saying that I think he's going to retire because I do not. No. I do not believe he's retiring at the end of the season.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
If we win a Super Bowl, I do not believe he's not going to. He is still 800 plus yards. Do you realize 10 extra yards a game would have got him to 1,000 yards plus?
Of course.
10 extra yards.
700 yards for Kelsey this year, and he got over that. And he could have got over more. It's just, I think he's like taking pride in like last year. He could have had that 8th straight 1,000-yard season. But you saw what happened to Sam Laporta. And now look at what's going on with Detroit. You saw what happened with Laporta, how they overused him and some of the other players. What happened? Injuries. You saw what happened with Florida, and then look at what's going on with the Lions. You lost Ben Johnson and you lost Aaron Glenn.
But you got to realize that's going to happen, and it has happened to us. It's going to happen. These are things that are inevitable when you're good. The guy that we went to the first guy that we went to the playoffs with Pat Mahomes was starter in defense. He's not even a defensive coordinator anymore right now. Okay, that's number one. Number two, he's gone through 2 offensive coordinators.
Yeah,
this is the second one I want to say, and so there's gonna be that turnover, and you got to know how to deal with it. Because all of this, I mean, Pat Mahomes is freaking amazing. There's nobody like him. No. But and we're content. We're Super Bowl contenders every single year because of him.
Of course.
However, if he left the game, I have no doubt in my mind that Andy Reid and company can get this team to a playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. So you gotta game plan for that before it happens. And that's why Big Red, Mr. 300 himself, this is Sparta.
Sparta.
Yeah. That's why
that was used to motivate us for high school football before our games.
Yeah. That's why he is who he is. He knows
Shout out
the
to
deal.
Coach Boys for that, man.
He knows the deal. He understands that people want to move on sometimes. And so you got to have a plan in place for that. It's next man up, not just with the players, but with coaches too.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Definitely.
So, it also just real quick. It also looks like our head coach, our coaches aren't getting picked up at all. They got interest, but it doesn't look like they'll be picking up because the Jags just hired their coach. There's a bunch of teams just hired coaches. So
Pete Carroll to the Raiders. Oh God.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that, but I didn't know if we had time. It's gonna be interesting. You got signed to a 4-year deal, 3-year plus 1. So
the 4th-year option. I saw that. I was like, oh,
yes.
Boy. So I will say this right off the bat: either Russell Wilson or Geno Smith via trade is going to be the Raiders quarterback, or
I don't think so.
Why would you say that? Go ahead.
Just because they don't value offensive line that much. Pete Carroll has never valued offensive line at a high regard. So I would think he would want a younger quarterback to run his offense, and he's always had that. Russell Wilson was young when he got him. He drafted him. He drafted him out of 3rd, 4th round, so they could do that same thing again. I don't know if they will, But they can do that same thing again. He was a professor adjunct or a professor at USC this past semester. So maybe he was close enough to the game to see a guy that he would, to scout. I don't know, because his best years drafting. We're off topic here, but his best years drafting was his first 3 years coming out of college. After that, it started going downhill. He drafted Hall of Famers those first 3 years in Seattle. After that, didn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. But anyway, I don't know, man. Yeah. We'll see about that quarterback thing. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, my second standout, and the two of these guys I'm gonna talk about here, man. I wish if our website was still up and we had that article that I wrote in 2022 before we drafted these guys. I wrote their names down. One is here, Furious George Karlaftis. This dude had an unforgettable night. Not unforgettable, just a night to remember. Who and his teammates who had 8 sacks. He contributed to 3 of those 8 sacks, making him only the second player in franchise history, alongside Frank Clark, who mentored him to reach 3 or more in a single postseason game since the NFL began officially tracking sacks in 1982. He is the first player to ever accomplish this milestone since Jeffrey Simmons of the Titans when he recorded those 3 sacks against the Bengals in that 2021-2022 divisional round, but the Bengals still found a chance to win that game. Mm-hmm. So the 3-year veteran also surpassed the career high with 8 pressures during the game.
Look, man, originally when they started talking Karlaftis, I talked to you.
We had a conversation.
I wasn't necessarily the most enthusiastic about that pickup.
Right.
But we were able to move up in the draft and we drafted another guy. But even still, I wasn't sold on Karlaftis because I was thinking about guys like I was wanting a defensive tackle, to be fair, to be completely honest with you. I wanted a defensive tackle. I think that you should be focusing on that this year and next year, and
bring it back one on 2.
Yeah, because Chris Jones is almost out of here, and then you want somebody to learn from him besides just Wharton. You want a guy that you think
ain't getting any younger either.
Correct. And so basically, I want to do what the Rams did this year.
Oh yeah, dude, when I look at the Rams D line and how they found Omar Speights, I'm like, why can't we find guys like that? How can we?
Because they went and got the defensive rookie of the year, who I believe he's the defensive rookie of the year. Verse
is a beast.
What's his name?
Jared Verse.
And then they doubled down on that and went and got Braden Fisk.
Defensive tackle. And then also Speights undrafted.
So this is the situation. I mean, I'm projecting a little bit.
They should have won that game against the Eagles, bro.
No doubt. We know that too. But that's what I wanted. So when I saw they picked Karlaftis, I wasn't as excited. But once he got on the field and I did see the motor that never stopped and how that helped him, like an offensive lineman might have taken him out of the play, but he was able to use his unstoppable motor to get him right back in it, to get him right back in the play. And then so that's great, because when you got guys like Josh Allen, you're going to need that. You might not need it against necessarily Joe Burrow, but you need it against a guy like Josh Allen.
Absolutely. So, and I think that's why Karlaftis will be key in part of the game against Josh Allen and the Bills, because this is the thing about Karlaftis. He stands out on the defense that has allowed the 9th most yards per game this year. 9th most yards allowed, like that's big time. Like we're top 10 in yardage and defense. And he reminds me of Cam Jordan when he started off early in his career with the Saints. He offers the Chiefs flexibility playing inside and outside, even though we know he plays on the left, on the outside mostly, but he still has the ability where they need to put him on the inside. And I feel like you can get more sacks from him. Although he lacks the consistent top-tier speed to edge offensive tackles, his impressive lower body strength facilitates an intense bull rush, and his quick hands help him shed blocks and pursue the quarterback. And because of that, he now leads the team with 11 sacks this season, including this postseason.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll bring to the table come this next game.
Oh, yeah, man. And I think this next one, too, and he's also one of the guys I talked about in that 2022 article on the previous Chiefs Focus website. Man, I'm happy people say that this guy is better than Marlon Humphrey or the other guys who made first-team All-Pro over him, even though he is an All-Pro, and I said either first or second team he was going to make it. Trent McDuffie, my Chiefs MVP, the second-team All-Pro cornerback, who should have been a first-team selection, was a player on Saturday. McDuffie performed exceptionally well, only allowing just 3 catches out of 6 targets for 56 yards, giving up just 4 yards after the catch, leading the team with 3 pass breakups. These impressive stats are even more noteworthy considering that McDuffie covered Nico Collins, one of the best receivers in the NFL, who averages almost 100 yards receiving a game. He held him to almost like below 50 yards receiving. I mean, he dominated him throughout the entire game. That was a matchup I was worried about because of the last tall receiver matchup he had was against Cortland Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
But McDuffie stepped it up, and I'm like, there he is. The inner Darrelle Revis, the guy from Washington, was there on Saturday. He outplayed Derek Stingley. I don't care what nobody says.
Absolutely. Come on now. I like Derek Stingley since I actually thought Derek Stingley should have he was my number 1 corner in that draft over Sauce, personally.
Another name I had on that list too.
I thought the Texans actually made the right pick. He had a few injuries, but McDuffie, can't nobody compare to McDuffie. McDuffie is a dog. Like, the dude is a dog. He ain't worried about nobody. He thinks about the play at hand. He doesn't let a receiver possibly got past him. He has a short memory. He plays outside of himself. My mind always goes back to that one play, I want to say in the Super Bowl, where he was able to stop. I think he was only targeted once or twice, less than a handful of times, and he was able to bat that one ball down, the one ball. Yeah. And he was, if he hadn't swatted that ball down, that would have been a touchdown, no doubt. But I'm always going back to that play when he's playing, and I didn't think Brett Veach would ever be able to find a cornerback because it didn't seem like he put a lot of emphasis on finding a cornerback. But when he finally did draft one, he made the right choice.
Yeah, I was so happy, bro. It was like I almost had a heart attack when I saw that they selected McDuffie because I was saying almost those last 2 months, McDuffie. I was like banging on the table like McDuffie. And when I saw that, I was like, they did it. And Carl Loftus too. I was like, oh my gosh, the jackpot.
And then they got 2 defensive guys. Like
the
for
jackpot.
Real.
Yeah, bro.
And then they were able to keep Chris Jones. I was like, this could be something huge.
And since 2022, we are a top 3 defense, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's the thing, man. Regardless of how he's targeted or where he plays, McDuffie is just that versatile Chiefs defensive back. And yes, the best cornerback probably the Chiefs has ever had. He has that quick feet for with his balance and the precise hands for man coverage. Disciplined zone defender and can bait quarterbacks and efficiently break on those screen passes. Although he's 5'11", his agility allows him to succeed in ways taller defenders can't.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And last but not least,
real quick,
go ahead.
it's crazy that we went and got old boy, and a lot of people were talking about it. That we went out and got the cornerback whose name is escaping, Steven Nelson. Yes.
Yeah, we went back and got Steven. Yeah.
He hasn't seen the field.
He's fine. But he posts on Instagram and showed support. Like, let's get it, fellas. Let's get it. I'm like, all right.
Which is cool because it's forethought.
I think he's offered some expertise about how to play the position, because I think if he was healthy enough to come back out and play, he would definitely be like challenging Watson and Williams for the spot. But I think he is coming in like as an expert in terms of like what we need to offer. And I feel like it's not a coincidence since we added him back and we got Watson and everybody back. We're playing at all cylinders. And even Najee Johnson is playing dominant.
Yes. But what I'm saying is he's offering more than just expertise. He's offering backup systems. If one of those guys get injured, he's there to step in as soon as possible. Like, we're not leaving it to Joshua Williams or anybody else, because this steps it up a level. This is not the same as it was, and this is more movement from us than we've seen since Darrelle Revis, and that's 2017 or 18. I can't remember.
Yeah, around that time.
So that's a huge deal that they brought him in, not necessarily to play the starting role, but to if he needs to, he can. But as of right now, you just you're on the team, you doing what you need to do, helping these guys prepare and get ready, and then you're stepping in when you're ready, if you're needed. That's huge.
Exactly.
That's huge. So we can move on. I'm sorry.
You're good. And finally, the final segment of the night, and this is going to be important, and it is the 3 keys to victory. Yesterday, I analyzed key factors for the Chiefs to beat the Ravens last year. I analyzed key factors for the Chiefs to beat the Ravens last season in one of our episodes. And now, with just a game away from Super Bowl 59, there's only one obstacle, and that's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, who defeated us 30-21 early on in the year. This time, the game is in Kansas City. We will have Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, Charles Omenihu, and Jalen Watson, who missed the last game. And with that being said, not to waste any time, here are Philip P. Mac Magruder's 3 keys for our Kansas City Chiefs to defeat the Buffalo Bills and to defend their crown in New Orleans. Here we go. Protect 15, Patrick Mahomes and the football. Number 1, Jawan Taylor, I'm looking at you. I know that they're going to throw Greg Rasul and Von Miller your way.
Oh, they
better
are.
be ready. I'm calling you out, buddy. Do your job.
It worked last time.
Do your job. The Bills and the Chiefs concluded this season tied 17th in the NFL with 39 sacks.
Your call out worked last time. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Hey, I'm gonna do it again because I was starting to see something, but then he did better later on in the
He
second
did better.
half. But he just needed consistency. Remember, this line will feature former 2-time Super Bowl champion Von Miller, who remains a dependable pass rusher at 35 years old and contributed 6 sacks this year. Additionally, Rasul, who I mentioned, led the team with 8.5 sacks and posed a more significant threat to opponents than Miller from the opposite side. Moreover, safety Damar Hamlin, who survived from that near-fatal accident 2 seasons ago that we all saw on Monday Night Football, now in 2024 has 2 interceptions. But Taylor Rapp, who picked off Lamar Jackson last Sunday, will not be playing in this game. But we will have to look out for linebackers, Matt Milano, who is back, who didn't play in that last game, and also Terrell Bernard, who made that pivotal strip fumble from Mr. Drop the church's money tight end Mark Andrews. Not only the strip fumble, but the same guy who dropped the church's money for 2 extra points. I ain't gonna lie. I love it when somebody said it on Twitter. Somebody check his FanDuel account. I'm sorry, but
look, man, it was weird. He was falling backward, though. He was falling backward. Just give that context, but still, it was. You got to find a way to come up with that. I'm sorry. It was tough to see, and it's tough that Mark Andrews, who was probably top 3 tight end in this league, end up going out like that. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
But it ain't his fault that they was down that or like that anyway. Let's just be honest about that. So it's not his fault that they lost the game.
Harbaugh's decision making, Lamar Jackson's interception, Mark fumbling, a combination of all those things.
Yeah, so this is not his fault that they lost the game. Anyway, we move on.
Man. So providing Mahomes with a clean pocket and reducing errors in the passing game will significantly enhance our chances of winning on Sunday night.
This game, they'll be more apt to swallow the whistle as well, because it's been nothing but people crying and whining and complaining about referees. I've never seen.
They can complain from the couch. I know, bro. I know. Tell me about it. It was crazy.
Paying like, no, bro, that's not happening. But anyway, you know that everything has a ripple effect. Everything. So with that, I'm pretty sure they're gonna let the guys play, because this is a huge game, and this is the fourth time we've seen this game. So I'm pretty sure they're going to try to swallow the whistle as much as they can. But even if they don't, I don't put any stock. When I say none, I put no stock in the complaining that people are doing about Chiefs Kingdom and the Mahomes rules. So they can keep crying. I don't care.
They can, bro, for real. That's what I was going to say. You took the words from me. Shoot. Anyway,
keep crying. Cry louder, man. Actually.
Cry louder, for real. So this is what our offense should do, man. We should focus on scoring against the Bills, man, avoiding field goals on 4th down in the red zone. Mahomes and Kelsey, Worthy, and yes, Kareem Hunt must put pressure on the Bills. In Week 14 against the Rams beat the Bills 44-42, with the Bills defense allowing Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp together to rack up 254 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns on 17 catches. The other Rams offensive players had a total of 66 yards and no touchdowns on 6 catches, but Kyren Williams contributed 87 rushing yards and 2 rushing scores. He reminds me of Kareem Hunt without the fumbling issues, as you saw against the Eagles. Because wow, man, that play was a heartbreaker for me. I like Kyren too, man. But if you start seeing them in man coverage, the Chiefs should start exploiting the weaknesses in the zone and find the soft spots. Because the Bills, they have allowed 217 passing first downs. That's the 4th most in the league. That's terrible.
Nice stat. Very good pull there.
Yes, sir. So, number 2, limit Josh Allen's big plays.
Yeah.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen is undoubtedly a top 3 MVP. Adapt at escaping the pocket to gain extra yards and creating off-schedule plays in the passing game when the original play falls apart. While the Bills will rely on their run game, I anticipate Allen will leverage both his arm and legs in this matchup. Previously, the Ravens limited Josh Allen to just 127 passing yards and no touchdown throws. This elevates the importance of Chris Jones and Sack Nation, who must maintain containment on the edge and adhere to the secondary's plaster rules. This means they must identify the nearest receiver, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, overrated Amari Cooper, or James Cook out of the backfield, and track them closely while Allen is maneuvering for an open target. That's going to be important.
You killing me, man. You know what I'm going to say?
Go ahead.
We've had issues all year with tight ends. So I believe Dalton Kincaid is going to be the guy that they target.
Yeah.
And they're going to make sure that they try to get James Cook cooking. But you got to. And I don't really know how to explain this, but you can't have a spy on him at all times just because he's learned from Mahomes in the way of not like needing to be the man all the time. He kind of is more like waiting for the time where he's needed the most to do the running that he needs to do. And we look at the last game that the Chiefs played. He didn't do a lot of running, but when he did do the running, he did it when it was necessary. And so you got to have a guy like Leo Chenal really ready to go for guys like him, in my opinion. You don't need to spy him.
Who I had on my mind. That was all I was going to mention. Yeah.
You don't need to spy him all the time, but because that's giving him too much credit at that point. He's going to be an opportunistic runner. So you got to have a guy like Chenal spying and being able to shed a block and get out there just to while Karlaftis and them hold your edges. I think Drew might be a little bit too. He's big enough. He's a little slower.
I think
that's why I say Leo.
DK Uzama is going to be a key as well, stopping the run against Cook and Allen too, because he is a top 7 edge rusher in the NFL in run stops.
All right. Well,
like he's really on his way of going back to being the guy he was at K-State, but I think he's developing everything else around him, and we got to give credit to Joe Cullen for that. So Joe Cullen,
you will never hear me talk bad about Joe Cullen. That's the man. You know it. But Felix has the opportunity to really step up his game like he did this time last year, because he started stepping it up towards the championship game and then moving forward. So shout out to FAU. Just keep moving forward, and he could be something.
Absolutely, man. So, not only just inducing turnovers for the Bills, but also generating and capitalizing on them, man. And here's a note from that Ravens game. Their offense was terrible in the second half last weekend, bro. They completely stopped playing football during the final 15 minutes. I mean, the third quarter was terrible, highlighted by Josh Allen only throwing the ball once. What was the reason for that, everybody? We could just say that's Sean McDermott at his best.
Yeah.
They eased up off the gas pedal and allowed Baltimore to stay in the game until Mark Andrews done dropped the church's money. So,
look, man, I actually think that's going to be a huge factor in this game. When I tell you guys like Andy Reid are going to be able to play this game the way it should be played. And honestly, that means that Sean McDermott might overcoach this game. He might try to turn himself into Dan Campbell because he's scared that he's going to lose the game. And you can't be scared of that. You got to take the opportunities when they come to you, but don't over pursue. Same thing with a linebacker. You can over pursue the ball. Don't over pursue. And that's what sometimes I feel Sean McDermott does. And so if Josh Allen, he's got to find a balance between listening to himself and listening to his coach, because his coach might get him into trouble.
Yeah. And that's
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
He almost had it last weekend, but we shall see.
Absolutely.
He's going in front of a loud Arrowhead crowd, man. Yeah, let's go. So anyway, last but not least, Philip, what is the final key for the Chiefs? The secret key, in my opinion, that I feel like this could really help us. This could really be the key, and everybody can look back and say this could be the moment that really had helped the Chiefs get to Super Bowl 59. And I think we kind of saw a glimpse of it to begin the game last weekend. And I mean, I've been doing this ever since I've been seeing his name and trying to pronounce it the entire time. But I said it when he exploded for 63 yards, and that name is Nico Remigio. But seriously, Nico Remigio, though, man, oh my goodness, that 63-yard to open up the game
Yeah.
That is what I want to see from my return specialist. And I said a return like that. I even did a comparison where I said he reminds me of Danny Amendola, and I saw it off the bat. That field vision was incredible. So anyway, that
Yes,
leads
it
me to
was.
say scheme returns against this terrible kick-off coverage unit of the Bills for your future all-pro return specialist, Nico Remigio. This is why I say this. Uncle Dave Tobe is among the best in the NFL due to his impact in all four phases: punt coverage, punt return, kickoff coverage, and, of course, kick return. He is often compared to Andy Reid in training return specialists. As Andy Reid excels with quarterbacks, Uncle Dave has a track record with veterans and exciting young players in return games. This expertise could significantly influence the Chiefs' chances of winning Sunday night. Tobe has coached top players like Devin Hester, Dexter Run DMC McCluster, the Black Mamba D'Anthony Thomas, the Cheetah Tyreek Hill, the Jet McCall Hardman, Byron Pringle, Kadarius Toney, that 65-yard in the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, Sky Moore, and now Nico Remigio. Remigio is an undrafted second-year player from Fresno State and has made an impact in the last 6 games with the Chiefs. He ranks 5th among all qualified kickoff returners with an average of 29, almost 30-yard kick return average since week 14, including that 63-yarder last weekend. Although he fumbled on that play, his potential to set the game tempo is promising. And I hope he continues to make plays like that down in the road and hopefully on Sunday, because the Bills, and I said this the last time when we played the Bills in Buffalo when we had McCole, but we didn't take advantage of it. The Bills kickoff coverage unit allows 31 yards per return. That's 5th worst in the league. This should allow Dave Tobe and Remigio to exploit their weaknesses, especially when it comes late in the game. The Bills are likely aware of Remigio's skills and may kick away from him, but Uncle Dave should embrace the challenge to demonstrate this strategy. What you think?
They can't kick that far away from him. Shoot, to be fair, they can't kick that far away. So they can run, but they can't hide. Like that's just the way it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Remigio can do, because you've seen his progression through the year.
Last 2 years, man.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he'd be right for the position this year. But boy, from the first game to now, he's been a difference maker. And Uncle Dave did it.
Man. I have a gut feeling he can be one in this game here, particularly. And I feel like that's probably why they didn't use McCole as much. Maybe they didn't trust McCole's field vision. But what you saw in that 63-yarder in the last 30-plus yarders he's returned, he has it. But and I just see him as a future all-pro return specialist, despite being undrafted. I mean, McCole was our lead guy this season. While you had Tony, you had Sky, and they've had impressive returns but baffling moments. And yes, Remigio's fumble on that 63-yarder could have cost us. But shout out to CR Dub for recovering that ball. It all turned out well.
Also, it also kept our boy, not Hollywood, but Worthy. It kept Worthy out the special teams. So I'm very happy about that. So shout out to Nico Remigio.
Absolutely, man. I mean, this guy is an excellent return specialist. He leverages his skills that he uses as a slot receiver on those kickoffs and punt returns. His exceptional field vision enables him to find those gaps. Just like if you just look back on that film, while he's running, he's still trying to find the opening while he's looking. And when he finds it, he runs through it. And it's so amazing, bro. That's what I never saw from McCole. McCole, he just tried to, find something special because of his speed, which is not a problem, but you just got to have that vision. Just like what we say the difference between Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. At 5'9", he embraces that contact, no matter the defender's size. That's the kind of return specialist I want. Cowboys All-Pro Kevontae Turpin didn't get his chance until he was 26. At the same time, Danny Amendola, a similar player to Remigio, who I compared over the last 2 years, started on special teams before becoming a key target for Tom Brady, one of the key targets from the 2010s for the Patriots. Among those teams, as I mentioned, Remigio is poised to break out as a star in kick and punt returns, bro. I love this kid.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Completely here for it. So,
Uncle Dave, if you're hearing me, please. You've done it with Kadarius. You've done it with McCall. You've done it with Tyreek. You've done it with Devin Hester to open up the Super Bowl. I think you should do this with Remigio.
it's time, baby.
It's time, baby. Bring back the old Arrowhead returns, baby, like Dante Hall.
Woo, don't get me happy. Don't get me started. Let's
Vancouver.
go.
Yeah, man. So, yep.
All right. Well, I think that's the show today, and we appreciate everybody for listening. We look forward to seeing this game on Sunday, not Saturday, Sunday, and look forward to it. It's going to be a challenge. Please don't think this is going to be a cakewalk. Do you have any final score predictions at all?
Really, if
I know we don't normally do that, but I figured I'd ask.
Okay, I would say, like, especially seeing what's going on with Taylor Rapp not playing, and also Benford's situation that he did not practice today, and if he doesn't play, boy, Kansas City could get over 30-plus points in this game. So if that's the case, I would say Kansas City 31-17. But if it was like a close, but if it was a close game, Chiefs 24, Bills 17. So yeah, we could still hold them under 17 points, bro. I think our defense is that good.
I actually got us scoring 31 and them scoring either 28 or 30. One of the two. I just don't know which one I want to do. We scored 31.
It's just the way their offense played in that second half, bro. If you're gonna play like that, bro, we should run the scoreboard on them.
Well, we'll see.
Our defense is way 100 times better than Baltimore. So yeah, bro.
Of course.
We're playing Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom football.
Absolutely.
That's what I love about it. So here's my final thoughts before we end the show.
All right.
I'm gonna throw my NFC pick. I'm going to stick with my choice from last week that I told is an upset by Jayden Daniels and the Commanders over the Eagles. The unanimous Rookie of the Year and MVP candidate Daniels will outplay Jalen Hurts this Sunday, demonstrating what it takes for an elite NFL quarterback to reach the Super Bowl. I predict the Commanders will meet the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, featuring the current GOAT Mahomes against the future GOAT Daniels. Don't be surprised if this was the Super Bowl. This could be just like the 2018 Monday Night Football game between the Chiefs and the Rams, but this time we come out on top. But still, it's not me throwing shade at saying the Commanders might not beat us or whatever might happen. I just want to have a good matchup and some great competition like Dragon Ball Z with Goku saying, I want good competition because that's what Saiyans are about. The Commanders both hold the quarterback and coaching advantages, and that's why I'm going with the Commanders, just like I chose them to beat the Lions last week. So I'm thrilled. We've reached our 7th straight AFC championship game with a shot at history. I've been saying it since the beginning of this season. For Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium, this game could top the Nielsen ratings, and it's win or go home. Chiefs Kingdom, let's make history. As I mentioned in 2022, it's us against the world. They doubted us against the Eagles. They're going to doubt us again because, the refs are on our side, whatever. They never said that when Tom Brady and the Patriots was doing stuff, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So it's either going to be the Eagles, who we might face in the Super Bowl, or the rookie phenom Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. All questions will be answered this Sunday. So enjoy and go Chiefs. Fear nothing, attack everything.
Yes, sir. With that being said, this is it. This gets us to the doorstep of this three-peat.
This takes us to the promised land.
I'm looking forward to seeing what'll happen.
Yes.
And if there's nothing else, that's PMAC. I'm you, the letter, not the word. And we are out. Go Chiefs. Deuces.